Hello everyone, my name is Rob Winterton. I'm here as the project manager for the Exit 3/Rose Street construction project. I'm going to go over the overall project and then kind of go over a little bit of the traffic impacts that we've got coming up this year. So for the 2017 and a little bit of 2018 construction, as you can see here, the project begins right near Livingston Street and goes northbound all the way just about to Onalaska to the railroad bridge. And we'll be redoing the interchange ramps as well at Exit 3. And we also have a small piece of George and West George Street that we're going to be working on. So as you can see, all roadways are going to remain open except for a few things that I'm going to talk about now. The interstate is going to remain open. We may have some periodic lane closures, nothing long-term, and some shoulder closures. We do have several ramp closures that I'm going to get into in a little bit more detail as they're going to be sporadic throughout the project. We also have closures of Palace Street and Moore Street. They can't be closed at the same time, but they will be alternating closures, as well as some interim closures along between George Street and Salem Street. So I'm going to go over a little bit of the scenarios here that we've got for traffic. As you can see, the roadways are going to remain open other than a few small spots that I'll talk about here. Interstate traffic is going to remain open. There may be small lane closures. It says none here, but we might have shoulder or lane closures. Rose Street's going to be reduced to one lane in each direction other than peak hours where we're going to try to maintain more lanes of traffic. We do have a one weekend full closure of Rose Street, and that's going to be up around this area for us to take down a bridge. And I'll talk more about these detours too in a little bit. We're going to be taking this ramp and building a stub on it. So we're going to be closing this ramp so you won't be able to get on if you're southbound 35 onto westbound 90. So you need to come down when this is rebuilt and get back on this way to go back to Exit 4 and take that loop to get back onto westbound 90. This is roughly going to take place probably mid to end of May to the mid to end of June. So the last detour that we have planned for the ramps is going to take place later on in the project, probably more in the August to October time frame. And this ramp will no longer be in service and a new ramp will be built in its place, and we will be closing this exit ramp at Exit 3. So anybody traveling eastbound 90 that wants to go to northbound 35 will need to follow the interstate to Exit 4, get off at Exit 4, follow the loop around, and this one will now be a signalized intersection for you to turn and go up 35 north. In the first stages of the project, which are happening in the beginning of April and will be going into June, we'll be starting constructing George Street right at the Cunningham Street. We'll be building this side of George Street, so traffic will be running in single lanes on this side while we construct this half. And this section of George Street will be done under a closure at two different times. So the construction on Rose Street is going to take place essentially in two main stages. The first stage is going to have traffic running along the southbound lanes. So the northbound and southbound traffic will be running on single lanes on the southbound side, while the north side of Rose Street is constructed along with some of the ramps. The next main stage is once the northbound lanes are constructed, traffic will then be switched onto that while we build the southbound lanes and the ramps. So construction is underway, so it's going to be starting the beginning of May, and it's going to go all the way through November. There will be a little bit carryover with landscaping items such as tree plantings and other landscaping items that will be carried over into 2018. So with that, here's what the project is going to look like when it's done. Construction starting at Livingston Street, and we're going to have two lanes in each direction all the way up as we get through Moore Street intersection, Palace Street. This will still remain a signalized intersection. As we get up to George Street, we're going to have a new intersection at West George and George, and construction goes down and begins at Cunningham Street. We are going to be building a new eagle viewing area right across the intersection of West George Street. We have a new back access road that will be accessing Walgreens, a hotel, SSE Music. As you can see, there's paths, sidewalks along the corridor. So construction is going to continue on from this area through the interchange up to Onalaska and match into a previous year's project from last year. While construction is going on, access to all these businesses is going to remain. We do have some closures, but access into all these businesses is going to remain throughout the project. So here's the contact information for the project. Feel free to contact me anytime. Like I said before, I'm Robert Winterton, will be the project manager. And we'll also be sending out updates, hopefully every week, but it'll be routinely. So if you go to the 511 construction project site for Exit 3, you can click on the Sign Up for Updates tab, enter in your email address and your name, and you will be sent updates.